Welcome to video lecture on pandas. The pandas library was developed by Wes McKinney when he was working at AQR Capital Management. He wanted a tool that was flexible enough to perform quantitative analysis on financial data. Later, Changshi joined him and helped develop the package further. The pandas library is an open source Python library especially designed for data analysis. One thing to keep in mind is that it has been built on NumPy and it makes it easy to handle data. Let us have a look at data structures in pandas. There are three basic data structures: series, data frame and panel. Series is analogous to 1D, data frame is analogous to 2D and panel is analogous to 3D. Okay. So, series is a one-dimensional array which can hold any type of data. Okay. So, array can hold any type or different types of data too. Data frame is a 2D data structure with columns that can be built on different data types. It can be seen as a table of rows and columns. So, data frame is analogous to a 2D structure like a table which consists of rows and columns, and panel is a structure that handles 3D data. Okay, let's begin with series. Okay, a pandas series is a one-dimensional array of indexed data. It can be created from a list or an array or a dictionary. Okay, let's look at the first method, creating from a list. Okay, so first we need to write the import statement, import pandas as PD. Okay, and then PD dot series. Look carefully, S is capital. Okay, and then in brackets what we do is we pass a list. This is a list enclosed in square brackets. We passed a list, okay, and we say PD dot series. So, a series would be formed and it would be stored in a variable data. Now, we are printing data and this is the output that would be printed. These are the indices 0, 1, 2, 3 and these are the corresponding values. Okay, let's have a look at it. Now, what we need to do is we'll be using Anaconda. So, open the Anaconda prompt. Now, how to install Anaconda? Please Google it, or I may share the link for installing Anaconda. Open the Anaconda prompt. It may take few seconds. Okay. Now, go to the folder. Go to the desired folder. Now, my folder is in D drive. I have created a folder. I want to keep my files on D drive and I've created a folder pandas_proc and I'll be using this. Okay, inside this now you type Jupyter Notebook. The notebook would be opened in a browser. Okay, now here you can see the list of your Python notebooks. What you may do, if you want to create a new one, you may say new Python 3. So, this is your new file wherein you may type your code. You may save this file. Okay. The extension is IPYNB, IPython notebook. IPython notebook file is a notebook doc used by Jupyter Notebook, an interactive computational environment designed to work with Python and their data. Py is a regular Python file and IPYNB is a Python notebook. Okay, the first statement that you need to type in is okay, and run this. If it's not giving any error, that means pandas have been installed successfully. Okay, let us now create the series from a list. So the first line is data is equal to pd dot series, S is capital, mind you all, and then in brackets we pass a list, okay, consisting of values 0.25, 0.5, 0.75 and 1.0. See, at this moment this has been passed as a string. You can also pass it as an integer or as a float value. Okay, the next line is data. Okay, and this is the output. This is the output. Here the D type. Here the D type or the data type is float 64. You can access the data by the associated index. Data of 1. Now as you can see, it starts from 0. The index starts from 0. When I say data of 1, 0.5 will be displayed. Okay, so data of 1 will give you 0.5. Next is range. Data of 1 to 3. Now one thing to keep in mind is that 3 won't be included. Okay, 3 will be excluded. So basically it will be 1 and 2 and not 1, 2 and 3. Okay, so 1 that is 0.5 and 2 that is 0.75. Okay, so this would be the output for a range. Okay, series object may look similar to 1D NumPy array. Okay, one thing to keep in mind is that NumPy array, okay, they are implicitly defined, they have implicitly defined integer index. Okay, the indexing is implicit. Okay, but in pandas, okay, or in pandas series we can have explicit index. Okay, explicit index definition gives series additional capabilities. Index can be strings too. Okay, now look at this particular example. So we are creating a series over here and explicitly we are defining the index. Index is equal to A, B, C, D. So here the index would be strings A, B, C, D and not integers, that is 0, 1, 2, 3. Okay, let's have a look at this too. Okay, so as we can see, the indices are A, B, C, D and the values are 0 0.25, 0 0.5, 0 0.75 and 1. We can even use non-contiguous or non-sequential indices. Series can be created from dictionary too. So here we are creating a dictionary first, population underscore dictionary. Okay, dictionary is a key value pair. Okay, so this is the key, California is the key and this is the value. This is the population of California. Texas, this is the population. Okay, so we first create a dictionary, okay, which is enclosed in curly braces, and then we say population is equal to pd dot series. Okay, so basically we are creating a series called as population and we are passing the dictionary to it. Okay, that is we are creating a series from a dictionary, and when I say population, this would be printed. Let's have a look. So I've created a series from a dictionary. Here 2, 1 and 3, these are indices, and A, B, C are the values. Index can be explicitly set if a different result is preferred. For example, if I say okay, though while declaring the dictionary I have put 3 key value pairs, but in index I am specifying 3 and 2. So basically the series would be formed with only 2, that is 3 and 2, and 1 won't be included. Okay, so we have seen series. Now series is one dimensional. For example, I can say that it's an array of names of all participants. Okay, data frame is two dimensional. For example, a table like this consisting of rows and columns. Okay, a panel is three dimensional. Okay, so maybe we can have these are the two dimensions, and this is the third dimension, say the time. Okay, so this information is for the year 2020, then this information is for year 2019, this information is for year 2018. Okay, now how do we construct a data frame? N series becomes one data frame. N data frame is equal to one panel. So we can create panel from data frames and data frame from series. Okay, moving on to the next topic, that is data frames. Okay, now constructing data frame objects. Okay, a data frame can be formed from the following data structures: list, dictionaries, series and arrays, numpy arrays. Okay, so list, I can have list of list or list of dictionaries. In dictionary I can create dictionary of list, I can create dictionary of series. Okay, and then I can create a data frame object from series and from arrays. Okay, let's have a look at them. Creating pandas data frame from list of list. Okay, so first one is list of list. So we shall see how to create a data frame from list. Okay, now this import statement. Next is what we do is we define our data is equal to, okay, so this is a list which is actually consisting of multiple lists. Okay, so it is list of list. Okay, the square brackets are for list. Okay, so this is one list, this is second list, this is third list, and we have formed a list from list. Okay, then what we do is we create a data frame. Now what's the syntax? It is pd dot data frame. Mind your D and F are capital. Okay, pd dot data frame, and you pass your data to it. Okay, this is optional. This thing is optional. If at all you want to give it some name, you may specify columns. If you do not want to label your columns, okay, then this you can remove this as well. This is optional. Okay, let's have a look in Jupyter, like how do we create. Okay, so when I run it, okay, now what we have done, we have created a list of list. Okay, so this is one list, this is another list, this is the third list. Okay, and now I'm creating my data frame. Df is equal to pd dot data frame d and f capital, and I'm passing my data to it. See, I'm not labeling my column, I'm just creating a data frame from my data and I'm just printing it. Okay, so since I have not labeled my columns, it is 0 and 1, and since I have not explicitly defined my indices, it is 0 1 2. This is implicit indexing. If I want, I can define my index as well, and that will become my explicit indexing. Here I haven't defined my index, nor I have defined I have labeled my columns. Okay, so the next is creating data frame from dictionary of list. Okay, so what we are doing, see, import pandas. Next is I'm creating a dictionary. Okay, so what is a dictionary? It's a key value pair. So this is my key name, and this is my value. Okay, so basically it's a list. So basically this is dictionary of list. Okay, so names are Tom, Tim, Jim, Jack, and this is my another key age, and these are their ages. Okay, and then I'm seeing df is equal to pd dot data frame. Okay, so let's have a look at it. Just copy paste this. And I have run it. So this is what will be displayed. Okay, so this is basically my data formed from dictionary of list. Okay, where the keys are name and age. Okay, and these are the values. Next is creating data frame from list of dictionaries. Earlier one was dictionary of list. Okay, first one was lists of list, second is dictionary of list, third way is list of dictionaries. Okay, so again, first the import statement, then we are defining the data or initializing the data. Okay, where this is actually a list, okay, of dictionaries. Okay, and I'm specifying the values as A is 1, B is 2, C is 3. So basically what I'm doing is I'm creating a list of dictionaries, and then I'm creating my data frame from this data. So let's have a look. Let us copy paste this. Okay, and run it. Okay, so basically this was my first row, this my second row. If I want, I can create a third row as well. Okay, So basically this is a list of dictionaries. Next is creating data frame from series. So what we will do first is we will create series, okay, and then from series we'll create a data frame. Okay, so what we have done is we have created here two series, population and area. Okay, so population is equal to pd dot series population underscore dictionary. So basically we have created this population series from population underscore dictionary. So basically we are creating dictionaries first, okay, population dictionary, okay, and here I am specifying the population of California is this much, of Texas it is this much, of New York it is this much, okay. Then I'm similarly I'm creating a dictionary of area, okay, and I'm specifying area of California, Texas, New York and so on, okay, and then I'm creating population series from this dictionary, and then I'm creating area series from this dictionary, and then I'm creating my data frame from the two series, okay. So let's create them. Okay, well I'll be copy pasting the code because it's a lot of. Okay, so I have copy pasted the code. I'm creating the two dictionaries and then two series, and then I'm creating my data frame from the two series. I'll run this. But this is how I'm generating or I'm creating my data frame from series. Okay. The next is creating data frame from array. Okay. So from a NumPy array, okay, we can create a data frame. Okay. Let's have a look. Okay, I am using the rand function wherein I am passing the shape of my array what I want. Okay, so it's 3 comma 2 this is the shape of my array, that is about 3 rows and 2 columns. Okay, so basically I am creating a data frame from a NumPy array. Oh, okay. Okay, so I'm generating these random values and I'm specifying the shape of my array to the rand function. So 3 rows and 2 columns. Okay, I want these many random values. So I've created a data frame from a NumPy array, a 2-dimensional NumPy array. Okay, next is we have already discussed this, okay, but let's have a look, creating an index data frame. Okay, so basically what we are doing is we'll be creating row index and column index. Okay, now here as we can see, this is the same thing that we have seen earlier. Okay, so basically it's a dictionary of list, and this is my key, and this my value. Okay, this my key and this my value. Okay, so this forms my data. Now what I'm doing while creating my data frame, I'm passing my data to it and I am explicitly defining the index. Okay, so it won't be the implicit indexing, that is you won't get 0, 1, 2, 3 as the default indexing. Rank 1, rank 2, rank 3, rank 4 would be displayed. Okay, let's have a look. We can modify the same code. Okay, maybe say 1 comma 2 or any index we can give, say 10 comma 20 comma 30. Okay, okay, so now as you can see, it's no more 0, 1, 2, it is 10, 20, 30 because we have explicitly given the indices, we have specified the indices. Okay, similarly what we can do is we can create column labels. Okay, so here we are passing data, we are explicitly defining our row index, and we can also specify our columns. Okay, we can label our columns. Let's have a look. Okay, so we have labeled our columns and we have given explicit indices as well. Next, we are going to see some basic functionalities of series and data frames. Let's say we are creating a series over here. Now, if I say s.axis, it returns a list of the row axis labels. That is, whatever indexes we have defined, it will return those indexes. Okay, let's have a look. So, we'll go to the Jupyter notebook. Okay, and I'll create a series over here first. And let's say we are defining the index as say okay. Okay, so this is the series. Okay, these are the values 1 2 3 4 5 and these are the indices 10 20 30 40 50. Now suppose if we say s dot axis, okay, it's an attribute of series, it will return me the row indices. Okay, it will return me all the row indices. Next is d type. What d type does, it returns the d type of the object, returns the data type of the object. So if I say s dot d type and I run it, so it will tell that they are of type int 64. Okay, the data type is int. Next is empty. It returns true if series is empty. Okay, here if I say s dot empty, it's returning false because the series is not empty. Next is ndim. Okay, returns a number of dimensions. Since it's a series, obviously there will be only one dimension. Okay, so number of dimensions n, number of dimensions is equal to 1. Next is size. What size does, it returns a number of elements. So if I say s dot size, how many elements are there? There are 5 elements, so you should return 5. Okay, next is values. Returns the series as an array. Okay, so if I say s dot values, it will return me an array with the values 1 2 3 4 5. These are the values. Okay, moving on to the next, that is data frame basic functionalities. More or less they are similar. Okay, the first one is axis. It returns the list of row axis labels and column axis labels. Series was one dimensional, therefore it returned only the row indices. This will return the row indices as well as column labels. Okay, so let's have a look. Let's create data frame first. Okay, we'll just copy paste the previous which we have already created. We'll just copy paste that. Let's take up this. Okay, and just use the same thing. Yeah, so this is there. Now if I say df dot axis, okay, so here it's returning me the row index. It starts at 0, stop at 3, means actually it's 0 1 2, 3 is not included, and step size is 1. Okay, it is giving in this format because we have not explicitly defined the index. Okay, if we define the index, it will specify that. For example, if I say comma index is equal to 10 comma 20 comma 30 and I say run. Okay, so now I have explicitly defined the row index. So when I say df dot access, okay, it will specify the row indices and it will specify the column labels. The column labels are name and age. Next thing is empty. So it will data type, d types. Okay, so returns the data type of each column. Okay, mind you all, it is not d type, it is d types. Okay, because it is two dimensional. So name is an object, age is integer. Next is empty, returns true if object is empty. Now this object which we created is not empty, therefore it is going to return false. Next is endim, it returns a number of dimensions. Since it is a data frame, it will return 2. Okay, so there are 2 dimensions. Next is size, it returns a number of elements. Okay, so when I say size, so how many elements are there? There are 6 elements. Okay, so df dot size will return 6. Next is values, returns the actual data in the data frame. Okay, so it's going to return me the actual data in the form of an array. So this is the first one, this is the second row, this is the third row. Next is T, transpose. It transposes rows and columns. So if I say df dot T, it will transpose rows and columns. These were row indices, now they are columns, and these were columns, they are now rows. Okay, so transpose of the data frame. Next is shape. Shape, it returns a tuple representing the dimensions of the data frame. Okay, so what are the dimensions of df dot shape? If I say, it's going to return me 3 comma 2. 3 stands for rows and 2 stands for column. There are 3 rows and 2 columns. Okay, now both series and data frames, they support methods called as head and tail, which we shall see later. The next topic is descriptive statistics. There are various statistics which are available and can be applied to columns with numerical data. Operations in general exclude missing data and operate across rows by default. Okay, let's have a look at the first one. It is count. Count returns number of non-null observations, and the syntax is df dot count. Let's have a look. Okay, this is my notebook. Okay, let's use the same data frame. Okay, I run it. Now I say df dot count. Okay, so name, there are 3 elements, age, there are 3 elements. So it's giving me count of values. Okay, count of non-null values. Next is sum. Sum will give me sum of values. Okay, now if I say df dot sum, okay, and if I run it, okay, so basically what sum is it giving? See, first thing is it is across rows. By default it is across rows, so this is sum of this. Okay, so Jim, Tim, Tom, and this is sum of age. So 18, 19, 20, addition of 18, 19 and 20, that is 57. Okay, now if I wanted column wise, I will specify the axis. Okay, if I wanted column wise. Okay, now if I say sum of 1, okay, so basically it's not working on the strings. Okay, so it's actually giving sum of sum column wise. Okay, now let me add one more to it. Let's say marks, and see Okay, so these are the marks. Yeah, and let me run this. Okay, so this is column wise. So 18 plus 10 28, 19 plus 12 31, 20 plus 20 40. Okay, and if I give it as 0, it is row wise. Okay, I mean basically this is sum across rows. Okay, so addition of 18 19 20, addition of 10 12 20. Next is mean. What mean does? Mean, it will give you mean of values, that is average of values. Mean is nothing but average. Okay, so if I say mean, okay, and if I run it, okay, so it's giving me mean of age. Okay, so mean average is 19 and here the average is 14. Okay, the next one is median. Okay, what median actually does, median sorts the values and take the value at the midpoint. Okay, so mean. Now next is median. So basically this will sort the value. Okay, see, through mean I got the values as 19 and 14. Now let's, okay, now the values are 19 and 12, not 14. Median is not taking average. What it will do is it will sort. Okay, so 10 12 20, it will sort it and it will take the value at the midpoint. Similarly 18 19 20, it will sort and it will take the value at the midpoint. Okay, the next one is mode. What mode does is it gives you the most common value in the data set. Now let me modify this. Okay, let's say 18 and here let's say 10 and mode. Okay, let's run this and this. Okay, so basically it's and even this, no, I can change. Okay, so it's giving me the most common value, that is Jim. Okay, age is 18 and marks are 10. These are the most common values in the data set. So it's returning me those values. Okay, similarly next is standard deviation, which will return me the standard deviation. Next is minimum, maximum, and last one is absolute. So if I do standard deviation, okay, so it's returning me the standard deviation. The definition of standard deviation is, square root of the variance, and variance is simply the average of the square differences from the mean. Now if I say min, it will return me the minimum value. Okay, and if I say max, obviously it's going to return me the maximum value. And if I say absolute, okay, for that I'll have to remove this or else it may give me an error. Okay, and it will return me the absolute values. So to summarize, in today's video lecture we have seen how to create pandas data structures, that is we have seen how to create series and data frames. Panels are not supported. Next we saw some basic functionality, that is some attributes, and then we saw some statistics, some methods, some functions that we can use for calculating the statistics.